Hello there, I am Phantom Enchantress. I'm also known as Ginger Babe on Twitch, and Creepy Clown Gal, as well as Masquerade Enchantress on Instagram. So, probably that's way too much information right there, but hey, I don't have anything to hide, really. I don't, well, maybe a few things, but other than that, I'm going to be talking about technology and does it really work? Now, I've had people on Google I've had people on Google, I've had people on Facebook, I've had people on numerous places on social media say that paranormal apps don't work. I'm gonna say majority of them don't work. A majority of them are fake, they're for entertainment purposes, they're meant to fake out on friends, and sometimes they're pretty obvious about it that it's not a real app, and people mistakenly get these apps not knowing. That's probably not the majority, but who knows. I'm not good with the numbers. But one thing for sure is that there are apps out there that work. And it just takes knowing where to look. And I have tried just about every single paranormal app on Google Play alone. And I can tell you with patience and with a good attitude, you know, a can-do attitude, these things will work. It just takes time. It's very much like a muscle. The more you use it, the easier it's going to be. I've had people that have said the same thing. There are a number of reasons why your apps aren't working. One of the things is you're not patient enough. You're not willing to get results. You're not willing to, because that's one of the number one things that you will need. Like, you can have all the fancy equipment and afford the REM pods and the EMF scanners. You can have all of those, but I'm going to say if you don't have patience to sit around and actually gather responses and evidence, then you are not going to flourish in the paranormal community. You need to be willing to learn, being willing to kind of think outside the box and know that not everything you believe in and not necessarily everything that you think exists really is what's going on. So you got to be open to new ideas and concepts, and rather than thinking that, you know, it's this way or the highway. It's not this. You cannot be biased. You cannot have sure, be skeptical. If you don't have a team, this requires you to be both skeptical but also be logical. So you need to be metaphysically open, but you also have to be open to logical explanations. So for instance, if something happens and you see a little bit of light, it could be something very, very ordinary, you know. And there is something to be said when you are in a dark place that your feelings amplify the experience, and especially so when you're with other people. Something that normally would just be very silly to you are going to be very terrifying because you're with another person. Which is why, I've never really had a Ouija board experience with someone with someone else, because the one thing that I kind of fear, I suppose, it's not really a fear, it's more of a concern. It's not like I'm sitting lying awake thinking of it. It's more of a concern and a worry. Is that I have a session with someone and their energy is not right. Now, my energy is the only energy that I can actually control. So I can modify, I can correct, I can communicate, I can be myself essentially, because I'm all by myself. I don't have anybody to judge me except the spirits. So, with that being said, but yes, these apps do work. Another thing is spirits have preferences. Spirits are people. Okay, they're people. They've independent thought. They have their own lives. They have wives and husbands and children and jobs and civilizations, and they have a whole life with responsibilities and things that they have to do. They have obligations that they sometimes signed up for. And they're sentient. They have emotions. Probably at a level that is far beyond our comprehension. So, saying that, they have preferences. They have likes and dislikes. They have people that they would like to be around. They have energy that they prefer. They also have apps that they prefer. So if your app isn't working, it's not that it's a piece of shit. It's not that you need a refund. It's not that that it's fake. What could be happening is that your spirit does not understand how to use the app. It doesn't know how to utilize it. And when they try to, and when they learn how to utilize the app, things get a little easier. So the best thing to do is, if you have just something as simple as your phone with you and you set it down, turn off the data, meaning the internet that you get when you're out and about from your cellular provider, like T-Mobile or US Cellular or that kind of thing. So you have that. Turn that off. Turn off the internet. Just in case, if you like, you can have airplane mode, which will turn off the data and the internet with just one click of a button. Only takes one finger. Only one finger. And then you just put it there. And you go boop, and there you go. That's how easy it is to get airplane mode on. So why airplane mode? This is another thing. So airplane mode turns off your data and your internet because the signals from your phone could potentially disrupt a call from the tower, and that would not be good, because you're supposed to have contact with the tower, because the tower has information of where they are and they have to prove it. If you're having if by any chance, like if a plane crashes and the captain and the co-pilot are compromised and you're just a civilian, the tower can potentially help save your life. And actually teach you what buttons to push and how you can have an effective landing. People's lives have been saved by this, so it's important that you turn off your devices on airplane mode when you're in an airplane. You're saving lives. Just a fun fact right there. So, I don't know how fun it was, but there we go. But yeah, when and also look around you. Is there any power lines? So, those big wood planks that people put on lost kittens on the planks, these long telephone poles and stuff. So, you want to avoid being near those, because those give off a very high electromagnetic wave, and they will potentially disrupt any paranormal responses you're going to get. And it will also trigger false responses. So don't do that. Make sure that you're not around a modem. Modem meaning something, when you get internet, let's say it's from AT&T. They give you a box or a tower or an egg. They come in different shapes, but literally what it does is you plug it into your wall and it gives you internet. That's what a modem is. You probably used one, you just don't know what the name of it is, but it's a modem. So you don't want to be near any of that. You don't want to be near any flat screen TVs or specifically tablets, or you don't want to be around any like laptops, that kind of thing. If you are, I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't have a laptop in the same, just don't put your device right on top of it, or right on top of a electrical outlet, because that gives off electromagnetic waves as well. Also cameras, so hidden cameras, so cameras that you know, can, like, on cameras, and if they're in the house, if you're right within the line of that signal, you're also going to get false responses. Just be aware of where things are. Like, for instance, I know there are certain spots in my wall that have a very high electromagnetic waves that emit from it, especially when you're right on top of it. So just don't be on top of things that give off electromagnetic waves, and if you aren't sure of what's going to give off electromagnetic waves, you can easily get one of these. I think that I have it. So I do have an electromagnetic wave thing. This right here can scan for electromagnetic waves, and you kind of see right there. So this might help if you're not sure of what gives off electromagnetic waves. That will help. You might not get any ghosts from it, but not all spirits will send electromagnetic waves. I figured this out because I've used this electromagnetic wave scanner, and I went into a graveyard and nothing. I didn't get anything. So it's quite possible that you know, the theory is if you are in a place where there's no electrical outlets or power lines or that kind of thing, that you're interacting with a ghost. But there is such a variety in the spirit realm, so it's quite possible that not all of them, like, logically give off electromagnetic waves. So, but definitely I'm not going to disapprove of that if you go someplace where there's no, you know, electromagnetic stuff that can interfere, then yes, you probably have spotted a ghost. You probably found one. Yeah, I'm not going to disapprove that. I didn't disapprove that. But another thing is with when you just get your phone and just slam it down without an exclamation, that's really not good communication skills. That's the equivalent of just going into someone's backyard and setting up a camera and microphone and then just staring at them. Yeah, that's really creepy. That's very creepy, and I'm going to say this again. If you go to a haunted location you've never been before and you set up your equipment and expect something to happen without saying anything to the spirits or anything like that, that is the equivalent of going into someone's home and getting a microphone and putting it up to their face. You didn't announce yourself, you didn't call, you just came into the house because it was unlocked. So yeah, think of it as in a human experience, you know, from a human's perspective. How would you feel if somebody came into your home, just started setting up equipment and asking you all these questions? That would be a violation. I would call the fucking cops. I would be like, who are you and what are you doing in my home? Why are you do not belong here. But we have the audacity of going to these locations and saying, you do not belong here. Like, I live here. I mean, I don't have any paperwork, but I'm pretty sure you're not the astral travel police. I'm pretty sure you're not the astral police, the spirit police here. Yeah, you cannot just by saying to leave does not mean that they've left this realm. That does not mean that they left the realm. What it means, potentially, is, yeah, they didn't leave the realm. They left the house. Well, that's a start. They left the house. That's great. That's great. But they didn't leave. They're still there. And if they're a creature of habit, they're probably going to return. They're probably going to come back. They're not going to care. You know? How many people have gone up to you and said, guess what? You do not deserve to be in the space that you are in. You do not deserve to exist in the space of reality that we know it is. That would be freaking bizarre. But that's essentially what you're saying to them. You're telling them they don't belong. Bitch, they've probably been there before you were born. If they're ancient beings, they might have been there since the dawn of the dinosaurs. And I've known some ancient beings that have actually, that are that old. That are that old. So be careful. And the first thing you want to do, this is what I do. You don't necessarily have to do what I say because, you know, you're your own person. These are suggestions, tips. You know, so what you're going to want to do is, you know, if you have an app on your phone and you're going to use it, you're going to say, okay, I have this app on my phone. I would like to use this. Please take your time learning how it works. And if you would like to, I would love for you to communicate with me. Of course, you know, that's not quite exactly what I say, but that's that's the main idea, you know, the summary of, that isn't like word for word with what I say, it's a paraphrase. That's paraphrased. It's really just the main idea of what I say. You know, I'm not necessarily saying that, I'm not necessarily doing that, but I do try to, you know, and it's very frustrating. I understand how discouraging it is when you sit there for 30 minutes and you don't get a response and you're just like, I feel like I wasted my time. And that's very common, but I have found that these apps that didn't work, sometimes they work in different places. So it's all about location. It's all about the preference of that spirit. The spirit may not like that app or the REM pod. They may not like to communicate with dowsing rod, although most spirits don't mind because it's a very easy thing to do. Dowsing rods are really easy. They seem complicated, but the dynamic is pretty simple. The only thing that's hard is kind of balancing them, you know, balancing them in such a way that they aren't like going all over the place. So, yeah, it takes some eye-hand coordination for sure. So it's not a tool for everybody. Do they scientifically work? Yes, they do. Scientifically, they were used to find water. And I knew a viewer that actually used some wire hangers to do the same thing. So if you're whatever you call them, if you, let's say, we've got this. I would have come prepared, but I didn't. I didn't come prepared. Yeah, I put these in my backpack. Because, so if you're not comfortable with using, let's say, what just happened? Okay. You didn't see anything. Nothing happened. So if you're not comfortable with using 2 of these, you can just use 1. 1 is about effective as because it's the same idea. If you're not feeling the need to be ambidextrous, if you don't feel like being ambidextrous that day, all you can do is just use 1 of them, which is what I did. I started with 1 and then worked my way to 2. And there you go. And they don't, you know, if you notice they're a little bit bent. You know, they've been used. They've been well loved. They've been well blessed as well. I have blessed these to kingdom come. I literally have. So, with that being said, yes, you can potentially use these apps to communicate. And I have noticed, especially, I have used, if you remember a previous video, previous live I did with Beatrice here, we used something called Ghost AI. And, you know, not all AI is capable of, otherwise programs, you know, assistant bots are capable of communicating with the paranormal, but there are many that can. And auto-generated stuff, it says AI, but really those auto-generated word banks, it's the same thing. It's still a bot. Can it have... It's a very simplistic bot. Mind you, it's just a program. And yes, some of these programs are a threat to people. Threat to people's livelihoods. I am well aware of this, and I'd appreciate it if you like mention that in the comments. I recently lost a friend because they were so adamant in telling me, forcing the perspective of that there were starving artists out there. I'm like, do you think I'm stupid? I am aware. I'm aware that there are people struggling. I very much empathize with them. I'm a natural empath. And I'm a psychic medium, so, as well as a witch. I'm a triple threat. Wait. Psychic medium. Empath. And witch. Yeah, it's 3. Just checking. You know, I'm not that bad at math. I just make little tiny mistakes. Like we all do. And, you know, I can do the complicated stuff, but when it comes to rudimentary stuff, you know, usually it's just 2 numbers off. You know, it's like, oh, I forgot to add the 2. I forgot to subtract that. That's usually what's going on. But with some AI, I have found that it's most effective. For instance, I use Talkie, the Talkie photo generator, which is an AI program. And I put the images that I get from this other app. And it's kind of like this static, TV static app. So you see TV snow. And then throughout the static, you will see images, and some of them almost chilled me to the bone. But then then they started kind of repeating but when I'm in different places, they don't repeat, like rarely ever, like maybe once in a blue moon, once in a while, but I know that to be, you know, now I'm able to recognize my spirit guides because of that app, and I will put that static image through the AI photo generator, and what I get is amazing. It's just incredible. It's just like, this is the shittiest picture ever, and you put it through there, and then you get an image. So I really do believe that these are like physical manifestations of what my spirits would look like, essentially. I doubted it for a little bit, but there's just something, you know, I just couldn't deny the fact that it works. Technology works. It really does. And you just need to have faith in yourself. You need to have patience. You need to realize that not everything is going to happen instantaneously. You're going to have false responses. False responses happen all the time. They happen all the time. They really do. And sometimes, especially when you're not supposed to move your device, there's certain apps, for instance, that you're not even supposed to move your device at all. You know? So, there's that. And so we're going to be using a new kind of app. It's called Ghost Stalker. So normally when we do this, we do it this way. Normally when we do this, so I'm gonna situate things real quick here. So we're going to be using Ghost Talker. And I have it right in front of me. I have made sure that it is not on top.
Judge.
Judge. Please don't judge me.
Book.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Music.
Music. So this is our new edition of dolls. I think she's
Order.
beautiful.
War.
Order. War.
Passion. End.
Order. War.
Cream. Appear. Mother. Couple.
Gosh, this is really...
Guest. Steal. Argue. Early. Tonight. Daughter. Stomach.
Wow.
Confused. Mind.
Okay, so far, this is a lot of stuff. Couple, guest, steal, argue, early, tonight, daughter, stomach, confused, and mind. Never judge a book by its cover. So this takes responses and it's very accurate. So I've actually calculated, this is my laptop right here. And when you're right on top of it, it activates. But I am not right on top of it, so as I said, laptops give off a pretty high electromagnetic wave, but it's usually when you're right on top of it or you're right in front of it. I have had some distance I've actually calculated with this electromagnetic sensor, and I've actually figured it out to see so apparently yeah. So it goes about to a 12 volts, I'd say. Yeah, the only thing that I don't like about this is the fact that it goes by really fast. And it also doesn't record. I can't imagine me trying to write. Can you imagine me just trying to write and going, ah? That would be crazy. That would be this is almost so rapid that it's ridiculous. I'm gonna have to actually, you know, use, probably gonna have to use this more, because I just got this. Just got this today. Yesterday. Yesterday. Yes. Yesterday. So I'm probably going to, I have some things that I have to do really quick. And then I will probably be back and we will be interviewing our new, and my new spirit baby, judge book. I was like, don't judge a book by its cover, was definitely what I got from that. And yes, this is her original dress. Is it a female? No. By the way, she didn't just move. She's operated, so her legs, so if her legs are moved, her head moves too, which, to be honest, I think is a little creepy. There was a couple times where it was like, it's moving! A couple times where it was moving. And her eyes, I don't know if her eyes don't really open. This is a very old-fashioned doll. I'm gonna get her some clothes. I measured her. She's she's over 15 inches, so I'm probably gonna get something for a 16-inch doll for her. Because, you know, I'm not going to be indecent, but her dress in the back is just like, it's like a hospital gown, essentially. It's like, woo! You could just moon somebody. And, she actually has, like, an actual butt crack back here. Just saying. Like, so, yeah, I want to give her the original shoes. This is her original dress. I will keep it. I will keep this. It's kind of a hassle to get her to sit, because this one leg is like really stubborn. It's like stuck on something. I don't know what's going on with that. I think I think this has been well used, and I can't really find anything that says like when this was made or anything like that. And I can't say the seller was really, really nice and really approachable. I always love it's always a joy and also a reassurance when the seller is nice and approachable. And especially, I love to have the response. I love it when I get a response from them and I tell them that she will be in good hands, or he or she will be in good hands, and they're like, oh, I'm so glad that, you know, you're gonna take care of them and all that. And so it's really nice to see how they react or they respond, because if they respond in a really positive way, that really shows that they do care. They may not be paranormal investigators or witches or anything like that. They may not even be collectors of paranormal, of haunted vessels, but you know, they're willing to give it to someone who does, and so that really does reflect their character. You know, what's at heart is that they are good people. And eBay has amazing sellers. I've gotten all my haunted stuff from eBay. Don't bash until you tried it, because they have some amazing sellers that will go above and beyond to help you. And it's a really, you know, you got some bad eggs in there, but you got some, if you know where to look, you will find good people. I guarantee it. And I'm sorry there was so many technical difficulties. I'm probably going to have my microphone set up. As I said, my microphone doesn't give off a lot of electromagnetic waves. The only way that it could affect my phone would be if, the only way it could affect my phone is if I was inside of it. Like my phone was literally inside of it. And even then it gave off like a 4 to 5 volt reading. And it wasn't, yeah, there wasn't hardly any. And it was right next to it. So I know for a fact that it doesn't affect it. So thank you for joining, and I shall